Hi guys, AstroCass here, back with a quick astrology update. This is not going to be part of my celebrity series or anything like that, but it is going to be saved in my astrology folder because it is kind of talking about celebrities, but it's more like I am interested in this celebrity and I know they're kind of trending and lots of people are interested in talking about them. So I just thought I would do a Synastry reading on this person's relationship. So I'm going to do 4 different Synastry chart readings. So this is going to be about Taylor Swift, and I'm doing this one here on her and Matt Healy. And then I'm going to do her and Joe Owen and her Travis Kelsey. And I'm also going to do her and Post Malone. So there will be 4 videos in total. So keep your eyes out on the different Synastry ones. I'm doing them separately because I just feel like that'll be a little bit easier and shorter, especially if I do end up talking a lot because I am a Gemini, but I do want to keep these videos quite short and simple. But thank you for coming back to my channel and for joining me. I know that was a bit of a long introduction, kind of telling you what I'm doing. But if you love astrology, if you love spiritual things and wellness and fertility stuff and like gym, food, all that kind of stuff, vlogs, you'll find all of those fun things on my channel. I don't just have one thing. I am interested in a lot of things, but predominantly you will see astrology on here because I am an astrologer and that's my little boy in the background. I'm also a mum, but I love a lot of different things and this is my channel. So I'm going to share everything that I really enjoy and everything about me. But if you do enjoy this Synastry reading, this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any of my videos, and definitely interact and comment below. I love talking with you guys, so I'd love to talk to you about what you think about these Synastry readings. So I hope you can see the screen that I'm sharing. Obviously the orange-ish, like the orangey reddy colors, they're more orange to me, but the orange colored planets on the outside of that wheel are Taylor Swift's planets and the zodiac signs that they're in and the houses. Matt Healy's are in the blue on the inner ring, the inside of this circle. We don't have a time of birth, so we don't know his rising sign, so we don't know his houses, but we do know where his planets are and we do know how they interact with Miss Taylor's. So we can still kind of read this a little bit. More details if we had his rising sign, but you know what? I think we can still have a lot of fun with this, having a bit of a talk about their chart, how they interact, like let's get to know them. Let's see what their relationship's kind of about. We will have a missing puzzle piece because we don't know Matt Healy's rising sign, and that really frustrates me when we have this key part missing. But let's jump into it and have a chat. So we already know that Taylor Swift is a Sagittarius sun. There's a debate about her time of birth too, but I'm still a very firm believer that she is a Capricorn rising. Don't shoot the messenger. I really feel it strongly. I feel like she is a Capricorn rising. There are some debates. Some people think that she could be a Scorpio rising. More recently, some people have started to say that she's a Libra rising. I don't know. I mean, really, any 3 of those could fit, but I'm a strong believer in the Capricorn rising. She just has so much Capricorn energy, and trust me, I know she's got a stellium there, so that's going to come across strongly anyway. So there is a chance that she might not be a Capricorn rising, but I just feel that she is a Capricorn rising. Just the way she is and how much Capricorn energy she's got, and just that Neptune in the first house, I just really feel like she is a Capricorn rising, but I could be wrong. She could be a Scorpio rising. She could be a Libra rising. Who knows? Like as I said, they would all fit. But for this reading, we're going to do her as a Capricorn rising. My biggest reasoning for this is because there is just so much to her that gives off Capricorn vibes. And if you watch the way she is in her music videos, and I guess how she is, I guess, when people have met her and how they kind of describe her, they definitely express more of that Capricorn energy, but they also she has that Neptune in the first house. So she's very alluring and very mysterious and interesting. I think that shows a lot through the music videos that she does as well. that Neptune makes her really great at putting on a show and putting on like putting on, what can I say, like costumes and like putting outfits together really well. And if you've noticed, she's amazing with her music videos and her music tours. She loves to play around with costumes and outfits. And I think that that really kind of shows that Neptune in the first house, because they can be really great Hollywood stars. And there's something that's just so fascinating about them that people are just drawn to with their looks and their body and their image. But it's also the way they dress, and it's also the fact that they can put on different personas and they can put on different costumes, and I think she's fabulous at doing that. So I can really see that in her. Yeah. Taylor gives off sea goat. I'm not saying that to be mean, and I don't mean that to like put her down, because she's stunning. But all the zodiac signs, they link to normally to different animals, and typically Capricorn is the sea goat. And if you have a look at many other Capricorn risings and I guess look at what she looked like when she was quite young, before she started like having a lot of money to straighten her hair and change her hair and her appearance quite a lot, she had the very curly, crazy, wavy, curly hair. She literally gave off like sea goat vibes. She has like the bone structure. She has the wild, curly hair. Everything off the way she physically looked was kind of like that sea goat, the mountain goat, right? And that shows her rising sign, because usually like what people look like, and there are key physical features that you can pick up on that will give off massive clues to what rising sign people are. For instance, I'm an Aries rising. The eyebrows are a strong Aries feature, like really sharp eyebrows. A lot of the time their faces are more defined, like they have like the pointy kind of jaws and like just bone structure with Aries rising. They also tend to have more red skin, so rosacea and flush skin, which I get, especially if I drink alcohol. If I don't wear makeup, like you can see the redness and the pigmentation of my skin quite a lot. That's me being an Aries rising. Aries risings are also prone to having accidents and facial injuries. I have a scar under my chin. I've got a scar above my lip. I have a scar on my eyebrow that you just can't see because it's under my eyebrow hairs, but they were from accidents. I had a rock thrown at my face from family friends when we were like kids. I think I was like 6 or 7. The scar on my chin is from falling off a scooter, and I hit the concrete where they pulled out a tree, and the concrete was all broken, and part of like the concrete that was sticking up and broken and rough like cut my chin. The other one was from a dog biting my face, because when I was 2, I was hitting a dog with a stick and they bit my face. So that's a dead giveaway of all those Aries type things, like injuries and scars to the face can be a dead giveaway of an Aries. Redness, rosacea, people with skin pigmentation can be like a big giveaway that they could be an Aries rising. So long story short, I know I'm talking a lot about me, but I like to explain things so people can kind of understand. The best way that I can explain this from my own personal experience. And she, like her looks, her bone structure, she's tall, she's quite slender. That is Saturn, the ruling planet of Capricorn. That is Saturn. She has the bone structure like a Capricorn. She has the hair. She has like the look, just she looks like a Capricorn rising. I don't know how else to say it. Not only that, like her whole personality with how hardworking and dedicated she is. I know she's got that stellium in Capricorn, but I just really strongly feel she's a Capricorn rising. But I'm open to be proven wrong. I'm open to other people's theories, suggestions. I know a lot of people think she's a Scorpio rising, which could fit. But yeah, I just feel like because of the way she looks and everything, I'm just going Capricorn rising. So that's the chart I've used here. And I've just long-winded explanation. I'm a Gemini of why I've picked this chart, but now you know. And I hope you guys are with me and on board and kind of thinking the same. But if not, I do love to hear other people's suggestions and ideas. Put them below. So back to Taylor. Capricorn rising, Sagittarius sun, Cancer moon. She's also got Venus in Aquarius. She's got Mars in Scorpio, Mercury and Saturn and Neptune and Uranus all in Capricorn. She's just got such interesting planets. She's got Jupiter and Chiron, part of fortune, all in Cancer. I could definitely individually do a chart reading just on her chart. So let me know down below if you guys would like me to do that. But that's Taylor's planets on the outside in the orange. Now, if we look at Matty Healy, who is her roommate, on again, off again, boyfriend. We have quite clearly seen them together. It was a very short period of time, but obviously just because they're only public for a very short period of time and seen together and kind of being shown like through their concerts, visiting each other's concerts and saying like, I love you. Just because we only seen that small Snapchat doesn't mean that like that was the time they were dating. Like they could have been on and off for a long time. They could have been doing a lot in private, in secrecy. We just don't know. Or it could have just been that week short relationship of like a, 2 to 4 week period where they were together. We just don't really know. They haven't been super public about it. However, with her new album that's just come out, the Tortured Poets Department, like I feel like people are definitely linking a lot of the songs to Matt Healy, and like a lot of people are doing investigations and kind of trying to figure out, what's happened. And there's a lot of rumors, and obviously I won't get into all of them because that would just take too long. But a lot of people have suggested that Taylor might be a lot more interested in Matty than he's with her, and that's probably why the relationship didn't work. A lot of people think that she kind of chased him and he was just like not really that interested. He was just like, this is kind of fun, it's good for my career and reputation. But a lot of the songs that she's written are just very interesting, very emotional, very dramatic. A lot of love there. You can see like a lot of pain, but I think a lot of the songs could be about him, and their charts are very interesting together. Like let's have a look at their synastry, right? So, first of all, Taylor has her Venus, which is a planet of love and romance and dating and partnerships, in Aquarius, in the very like early signs of Aquarius. And then Matt has his in Aries, and it's pretty much conjunct his sun, and it's very close to his Mercury too. So with Taylor, she is very Aquarian. So she could have very unique relationships. She could be definitely interested in people that are a little bit more rebellious, more unique, more eccentric, a little bit quirky. People that are just definitely friendly and not afraid to like kind of show their freak flag, just a little bit different, right? Whereas his is in Aries, so he likes very straightforward relationships. He likes very independent relationships, which works well because Aquarius do like a lot of freedom and independence as well. So that kind of meshes for both of them. But with that Aries, he likes to chase or be chased in relationships. He likes things really bold, really courageous. Aries people are very like to the point and very fast. So again, they like the passion, they like kind of the chase, they like things to be a bit of a game. So that's kind of that Aries, right? That Aries energy. Because the sun is there and Mercury, this adds a layer of like, when Mercury is involved, this is about communication and news and like that intellectual stimulation. And then the sun being there, that's like about, your ego and someone shining and being, very, very bright, very well, like they're very self-expressive and, they just shine bright, they get noticed. And it's funny because those two planets are interacting his Venus, his love planet. Like there's that stellium of those three planets interacting together, which means that those all merge for him. Like his love language, his love relationships, they mesh with his thoughts, with his communication, they mesh with how he shines, with his self-identity, with his self-expression. So they're all like conjoined, which tells me that he really needs a partner that's both I guess really bold and independent, but also can shine and help him be like seen and you know, admired. But he also needs that intellectual stimulation from them as well, and that like that communication between them. So that's very interesting to see that kind of mix there. Taylor's planets, they don't make a huge lot of interactions with Matt Healy's Aries stellium there. However, I will say that Taylor's Mercury, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus, that cluster there in Capricorn, they do send a bit of a square there. So you go Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces into Aries, that's like 3 houses. It makes a square, and squares are tension, the conflicts, the challenges. So that shows that, you know, Matt's Mercury and, you know, Taylor's Mercury are not really getting along because of that square. However, their Mercury specifically are a bit of a wider orb degree-wise. But like that Mercury and Saturn and Neptune and Uranus, that cluster of Taylor's planets do form a square to his Sun, his Venus, and his Mercury. So there are some conflicts and some challenges there with their relationship, which isn't overly great. Like it's sometimes it can be okay in synastries to see like a Venus-Mars square. It can kind of show a bit of passion, a bit of drama, which kind of we kind of like to see that in relationship synastries. But for like Mercury's and Saturn to be kind of square, somebody's like Sun, Mercury, and Venus, that is a little bit challenging because Saturn shows there's restrictions, there's limitations, there's like authority figures that are in the way. There's something there that's kind of restricting their love and their relationship. There's too much responsibility, there's too much hard work because it's a square, it's a challenge. And then obviously Mercury is like communication. So the way that they think and communicate as well is quite different. So he's very straightforward, very bold. You know, he might be very impulsive and not really, like he takes action first and thinks later, whereas because he's a fire sign, he's got that fire in Mercury, whereas her Mercury is in Capricorn, in an earth sign, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which is very cautious, very restricted. It's also gets better with time. It's very responsible, as I said, very cautious, it thinks things through. It's very practical because it's an earth sign. So they think and communicate quite differently, which I feel like could have been like the biggest or one of the biggest issues in their relationships. You know, I guess it's not the be and end all, like there are other placements in there that can kind of save or help the relationship, but that's just something that I noticed off the bat that was just a little bit interesting and kind of maybe a bit challenging in their relationship. Excuse me. One thing I did really like though, and another thing that stood out to me is that Taylor's Sun in Sagittarius actually sends a trine to Matt Healy's Sun and Venus, a little bit to his Mercury as well, but more so to that Sun and Venus conjunction in Aries, because obviously two fire signs, so Sagittarius placements will always try and Aries placements and Leo placements. And obviously, yeah, Matt Healy's Sun and Venus are in Aries. So they get a trine from Taylor's Sun, and they're reasonably close degree-wise. So that's kind of nice. It shows that their identity, their self-expression, the way they're seen, especially when it comes to those fiery sides and things like how they take action, they support each other. They're very harmonious. So that's really nice to see. Trines are harmonious aspects. It means that the planets are working in harmony together. There's an ease of flow between their energy, which is really nice. Sextiles are kind of nicer in my opinion, because I know everyone says trines are better, but I just feel like with sextiles there's just more opportunities and more supports, right? Whereas with trines there's just a free flow of energy, which is really good. But sometimes you don't see a lot happening with trines. Things are just kind of like easy, but like not a lot of positive things happening, if you know what I mean. But when there's like sextiles, there's opportunities that are really supportive and helpful and in a good way. So like, I don't know, personally, I think sextiles are really nice to see, but trines are good too. So yeah, the trine between the suns was really nice to see. That obviously shows a lot of good relationships. It shows a good aspect for their relationship is what I was trying to say. We've just gotten out of Mercury retrograde. My brain is still not braining right now, but let's just go with it. But yeah, that's a nice aspect to have for their relationship. They have, I guess, another thing that I did notice was Taylor Swift's moon in Cancer. So that actually has a sextile and trine to Matty Healy's south node. It sextiles his south node and trines his north node. So that they're in Pisces and Virgo. And so, yeah, they like sextile and trine her moon, or her moon sends a sextile and trine to them, which is really cool because the south node is our past. So Matt Healy's like past life, his past, and the north node is his future and destiny. So that's interlinked with her moon somehow, and her moon represents relationships, home, family, because Cancer is the sign of like home and family. The moon represents emotion, that represents the mother, it represents family, fertility, all of those sorts of things. And I say relationships only because if she is a Capricorn rising, Cancer is her 7th house of relationships. So that house literally rules relationships and marriage for her. And the moon rules that house, and it's in Cancer in rulership. So the fact that the aspect in that can show like a destined relationship, or a relationship that it's linked to a past life that they both had, but it's also connected to this life that they're in, and you know, their future and their destiny. That's from Matt's point of view and Matty Healy's point of view, because they're his north node and south node placements there. So I found that very interesting as well. If you do follow like the past life stuff and like the north node stuff, I thought that was kind of interesting to see. I think as well, Taylor Swift's Venus in Aquarius gets a nice trine from Matty Healy's Jupiter in Gemini. So again, that's really nice because in astrology, Jupiter shows the husband. This is Matty Healy's Jupiter though. So, I mean, take that as you will. Usually Jupiter is just a planet of like luck, expansion, growth. His is in Gemini, which is like, you know, it's all about communication, learning, writing, all that kind of stuff. So that trine again shows that harmonious, there's like harmony between what he believes with communicating words, writing, like his beliefs around communication, around talking, his thoughts. Yeah, like meshes really well. It's very harmonious with her planet of like love relationships. So they get along quite well, those two planets for her and him. Matty Healy's moon, now, because we don't know his exact time of birth, the degree of his moon in Taurus can change. So this might not be accurate, but if his moon you know, is roughly like the later part of Taurus, it will oppose Taylor Swift's Mars in Scorpio. And that can be quite challenging because Mars can be very combative, very competitive. It can be quite challenging. It can show like action. It can show like passion, motivation, but it can also show like conflict and war and aggression. And it's opposite it's opposite his moon. And remember, the moon's our emotions. It's the planet that represents our mother, our home, our family. But it's like our emotions and our security. So I personally think in astrology, the moon's one of the most important things. Like, it shows our soul, it shows our true inner essence, it shows our emotion, it's our inner world, right? The sun shows our self-expression, our identity, like the outer part of us, the more masculine side of us. The moon shows the more internal, more private side of us, the more soul level side of us. And whenever that gets like oppositions or squares, that can be quite challenging. Because it's such a sensitive part of our chart. So if that is accurate, the Matty Healy's moon in Taurus is getting that opposition from Taylor Swift's Mars, that can show the way Taylor takes action with being vindictive or being like a little detective, or being like like not trusting other people, like having troubles with trusting, or when she's taking action and being really powerful and controlling, that can trigger him to feel emotionally not safe. It can make him feel a bit unstable. And vice versa, like when Matt Healy's acting really emotional, very Taurian, very stubborn, very fixed and grounded, that can trigger Taylor to kind of take action and be a little bit vindictive, or be a bit spiteful, or be a bit like a PI and want to investigate things and find out the truth. And yeah, it can make her like kind of act out potentially in the lower vibration of that Scorpio Mars energy, and be very competitive and very competitive and combative. So that can be quite challenging. But again, we don't know the exact time of birth for Maddie, so that might not be very accurate. But I just thought that was very interesting, because that could point to more puzzle pieces about their relationship and potentially why, you know, things haven't worked out for them. I'm just seeing like if there's anything else that I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about, if there's anything else that I've kind of missed that's worth mentioning. I think that was like all, like, obviously there's a lot of blues, like, you know, there's a lot of sextiles and trines happening, but they seem to be hitting like the north node, south node points, and like the cluster of the planets, like obviously Matt Healy's you know, Aries stellium. So that's really interesting. But overall, like, they've got some really good placements, especially with their sun, and they've got some really interesting stuff happening there with Taylor's moon. But then there's like challenging stuff as well. So, I mean, you'd expect to see that in everybody's chart. Overall, we'd be able to kind of go deeper if we knew Matt Healy's rising sign and therefore his houses. We would know like what houses these are playing out in, and we can kind of tell more about the impacts and the effects this would have on their relationship. But overall, they both have fiery suns, so that's really good to see. She has a water moon and he has an earth moon, so that can be quite nice. Like, they can get along. But then, yeah, I guess like there's just differences between their Venus signs and between their Mars signs, and there's you know, squares and oppositions that happen in their chart that show a bit of tension and areas for growth. But overall, it's a very interesting mix that they have kind of going on there. So I definitely think that, like, based on some of their aspects playing out in their chart, like, it's very evident that they definitely had some type of relationship, in my opinion. I definitely think Taylor loves his belief systems and the way he, like, his bigger picture of thinking about, like, the world and his beliefs about the world. Taylor loves that about him. And that's really evident to kind of see. Also, the way that, you know, his North Node and the South Node impact with her moon, I feel like she probably feels like, you know, a bit of destiny playing out with this relationship and connection to him. I definitely think she feels that. I think for him, this relationship feels a bit more challenging, especially because of the aspects to his moon. And then, you know, like the hard aspects from her Capricorn stellium to his Aries stellium. I feel like for him, like, he finds this relationship more challenging than what she does. But her, like, you know, her Venus is quite nicely aspected by his Jupiter. Her moon obviously gets those nice aspects from his North Node and South Node. Their suns play nicely and go well together. But for him, obviously, it's a bit of different story. Like, the impact that she has on him is a little bit different. But it's also very interesting because her North Node in Aquarius and her South Node in Leo, they actually send, so the Leo South Node sends a trine to Matt Healy's Venus and Sun, and then as well as Mercury, but more so the Sun and Venus, and the North Node sextiles them. And so it's funny that his cluster of Aries planets impact her North Node and South Node, and then her moon impacts his North Node and South Node. So there definitely, to me, seems to be some kind of past life karma there for them, and some kind of, you know, they were destined to kind of have some connection in this life, in my opinion. You know, if you do believe in evolutionary astrology and you do follow past lives, then I definitely think that they've had a connection and some kind of relationship there. When I look at past life stuff, this video is going to be a bit longer. I hope you guys are interested in this stuff. If you're not interested in past life stuff, then you can probably just, like, stop watching now or, like, tune out. I don't know. But her moon sextiling his South Node, because when we're looking at past lives, we're going to look at the connections to the South Node. So Taylor Swift's moon sextiling Matty Healy's South Node means that they had a connection as a family in a past life. The moon is like home, family. It's a female figure. So that shows that Taylor Swift was a prominent female figure in his past life, or a prominent family member. Like, they were family in a past life, whether she was like a mother, a wife, a partner, who knows? We'd have to, like, really look at all the aspects really deeply to kind of get the answer to that, which I probably don't have time to do in this video because we've already been on here for a while. But just in general, that sextile shows that there was support and something positive there in a past life that happened between them, and that there was a family connection between the two of them. That we can say pretty confidently with that aspect to his South Node there. Pluto, Pluto kind of, both of their Plutos are kind of in a conjunction, and they kind of, like, almost square that South Node. So they're almost playing a part in that story, which means, like, Pluto's all about crisis, transformation, trauma, control and power. So there could have been an element of challenges with, like, power and control and some kind of trauma in the past life for them and for their relationship. But But then if we look at, say, Matty Healy's Aries placements and planets, sorry. Yeah, it's really interesting because, like, obviously his Aries placements, more so the Mercury, his Mercury, kind of, they send a bit of a trine to Taylor Swift's South Node, as I said before, in Leo. So that kind of shows for him, like, he was a part of her past life. Because Venus is there, we can say that they probably were lovers in a past life. Because Mercury is there and more closely aspects Taylor Swift's South Node in Leo, we can also say that there was an element that really involved like some kind of communication that was really important between them in a past life. There was a lot of talking, a lot of communication. That was a really big part of their past life. And because it's a trine aspect, this is harmonious. This is like a free flow of energy to her South Node. So I guess obviously with Venus, we can probably say that they were lovers or they had some kind of relationship around money. So if this wasn't a romantic relationship, we could say that they had in a past life a really big relationship involving money. So they could have been co-workers or like investors in each other. Mercury being there to me shows that there was a lot of communication happening between them. They could have been writers together in a past life. They could have been musicians, writers. They might have wrote songs together, poems together. They might have wrote something together. They could have worked together. They could have been entrepreneurs or musicians. And that could have been like a collaborative kind of relationship there, or it could have been a romantic relationship that was also very creative and musical that they did together. Mercury's writing, communicating, it's the voice. Venus is like love, romance, money. So there's something, and his sun is also involved in that. So the sun is like our creative side, our self-expression, how we shine. That's all sending, a trine to Taylor's South Node. So this guy was definitely a huge part, if you believe in past lives, a huge part of her past life, because there's, 3 of his planets that are connecting with her South Node. To me, that kind of tells me that they were performers, because her South Node is in Leo, remember. That shows that she was, when a South Node is in Leo, they could have been royal, because Leo is like the king. It shows like royalty. They could have been famous, because Leo is like the performer. They want to be seen, they want to shine, they want to be noticed and admired. So they're usually singers, dancers, performers. They're actors, they're singers. As I said, like, they do performances for people to get like admiration, to be noticed. So yeah, quite often they end up to be famous or Hollywood stars or just well-known people. A musician could fit that. Taylor Swift was well-known and was a performer, whether it was a poet, like as a poet, or a musician, a singer. That could have put some kind of, like, she could have been somewhat famous in a past life, and he was part of that connection, whether he helped her whether he was her muse, her inspiration, I don't know, but there's that connection there. So I just found that really interesting. I wanted to spend a little bit of time just pointing that out, because I just feel like, yeah, I kind of love romance and a good love story, and I love past lives and spirituality. So I thought it'd be nice to kind of mesh that in this Synastry reading. So I hope you guys found that interesting as well. It would definitely be interesting to kind of look at their charts separately and have a look at their past life, I guess, story in their own natal chart, and then again go back to having a look at it together, maybe in a separate video. That could be interesting, and then I could spend a little bit longer going into it in more detail. At the moment, I'm just kind of quickly just like skimming over it, because we do want to keep this video quite short so that people don't get too bored sitting here for too long. But I hope you've got a cup of tea or a coffee or a glass of wine and you're just enjoying me talking to you, because I just love talking and I find astrology so fascinating. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed chatting about their charts with me. I just think it's really interesting to see how people connect. And we know a little bit because they're famous and like they're celebrities and, you know, they quite often end up in the news. But at the same time, we don't really know them, if you know what I mean. So it's interesting to get the insight from an astrology point of view. Definitely don't forget to give me a like on the video. Please help me grow my channel. I really appreciate that. The more you guys interact with my channel, the better the algorithm is going to be to me and push my video out there. And I would just love to even get to like 100 subscribers. 1,000 would be amazing. And like be able to push out more content for you guys. But obviously, yeah, the more people interact with my videos and enjoy this stuff, the more effort and time I'm going to put into my videos and the quality and like the content. So definitely don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, comment, interact below. If you guys talk to me, I will respond. If you got questions, I will reply to you. When I get a chance, I'll definitely reply. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, as I said. And for now, we'll leave it at that and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.